subdivision case. It's a unilateral class 2, which we submitted as a comprehensive plan, and we did unilateral distalization in this case. So this was a 19-year-old female who had a class 2 on the right side. Now, coincidentally, she had a root canal treated upper right first molar, which developed a crack. And she was advised extraction. In fact, she did not even come for Invisalign. She came for a cracked tooth. Now, the surgeon then referred her to me and said, we have to remove this. Do you want to use some of this space and correct the crowding? She also had some severely rotated teeth and her midlines were not coincident. So when she showed interest in correcting the crowding, this is before the extraction, this was a great case for distalization because we were planning to extract the first molar. And we thought we'll use some of that space to distalize the canines and the premolars. The third molars were missing, and therefore I did not have an option of mesializing the second molar to close the space completely. We would still have enough space to do an implant at the end of treatment. And we also needed to do some IPR in the lower. So we wanted to level and align her teeth. In this case, I decided to do en masse distalization because here I was not distalizing a molar, but I was distalizing canine and premolars. And considering that she was still a younger patient, I decided to attempt en masse distalization. The patient also assured me that she would be very compliant with her Invisalign and her elastics. That was the projected result where we finished with, like you can see, there are some conventional attachments already here. Now we did have an issue with the first fitting, so we had to go for a warranty fit. And I realized my mistake because on the second molar in my first plan, I wasn't given an attachment and I really didn't look at it. But I realized that when I gave her the aligners, though there were conventional and bigger attachments on the premolars, there was no attachment on the second molar. And the aligner kept slipping out at the back because her first molar had been extracted. It was like a free end. And we did need to order for a warranty fit set, which is why the scan looks like there are some old attachments here. And at this point, I added a big horizontal conventional attachment, which eventually gave me very good retention for the distalization. And there was some IPR plan in the lower as well. So, like I said, there was some severely rotated teeth, there was some crowding. We decided to extract the upper right first molar and do unilateral distalization, level the curve of Spee, expand, intrude, and do some IPR in the lower. This is her ClinCheck plan, and I will just show you how the en masse distalization is done. So as you can see, from step 1, the canines and the premolars are distalizing into the space. And we are finally left with, we're almost using 4 millimeters of the molar space, and we are finally left with a 6 millimeter space, which was sufficient for the implantologist to eventually put an implant into. And we did need to do some amount of IPR on the left side to finish in a good class 1 canine. And this was a severely rotated tooth, the lower right 5. And again, I thought I might need some buttons to correct it, but it actually got derotated very well with just the attachments that were placed over here. So how did the patient look at refinement? Her first set was about 24 aligners or 28 aligners. And the second set, when she came in, I was really impressed with how she was looking. She was already looking like a class 1 canine. Her premolars were in full class 1. There was a little bit of proclination in the uppers. And what had happened is that she had not come in between and I could not do some of the IPRs. So the upper and lower incisors were looking a little bit more proclined, which is why, and there was a little rotation or derotation of one of the lower molars because of the heavy continuous class 2 elastic wear. That can happen sometimes when you're not seeing the patient regularly, the patient is not living close by or they cannot come and visit you. And the patient is really a good elastic there. Sometimes you can have a little derotation, like a little rotation of the lower molar as well. So this was a comparison in the ClinCheck plan, how it looked in the ClinCheck plan and how it looked in the patient's mouth. And it was very similar to what we had planned for her he had achieved the class 1 correction on both the right and even the left sides. And all we needed to do was correct the inclination of the upper and the lower incisors and finish the case a bit more. Now, I came with additional aligners just before lockdown. Again, I planned some IPR. I only did a little bit and then, she couldn't come. And she just came like last week. And this is when I took her pictures. She's almost looking for, done. She has a little high point at 1 or 2 places, which I might get a scan and, order for a few, maybe 4 or 5 aligners, because she's a very good patient and she's willing to do whatever it takes to get the best smile. But this is how she looked. She's still very stable in her class 1 canine and premolars. Her otitis is better. Her proclination is better. And I do want to do a little bit more finishing if possible. And that is the comparison from before to now. So what went well in this case? This patient was very compliant with elastics, and en masse distalization in a case like this worked very well for distalization of premolars and molars. What would I do differently in the next patient with a similar condition? Like I said, I would add a conventional attachment on a posterior tooth adjacent to the extracted tooth. So whenever I have an extracted molar or any extracted tooth, I make sure I have an attachment on the teeth adjacent to it.